Welcome back, family, to the Serving Real. I'm your host, Don Cello, the Serving King, and today I got a special guest with me, Miss Shaneeka Nesbitt, owner of Shop's Beauty Closet.
Beauty's Closet.
Man, it's been hard chasing her down. She's a very busy lady, but I'm glad that she's here. She's going to share a story into entrepreneurship, some of the things that she's been through during this journey, and hopefully we can inspire some people today after today's conversation.
That's always the goal.
Always the goal.
Always the goal.
So thank you. How you doing today?
I'm booked, busy, and blessed.
Which is good. It's always a good thing.
Always a good thing.
So let's kind of start from the beginning.
Okay.
Has entrepreneurship always been something that you wanted to get into? Was it something you was raised under? Is that something you got kind of that bug, that itch later on in life? Kind of tell me how that even started, even wanting to be an entrepreneur.
So entrepreneurship for me, I would definitely have to say it was a word that I often used.
Right.
I never saw it being used in the same sentence with my name and my business.
Okay.
No, I did not grow up. I grew up in a military family. I was born in Germany.
Okay.
Mom and dad, grandparents in the military. So, and they then went on to work for the state, but they worked for someone.
Right.
They didn't go to college. So my sister and I were first generation college, Fort Valley State University and Bethune-Cookman.
Okay.
College at the time. So for us, entrepreneur was always something we saw on TV.
Right.
It was always something that we saw in the bigger picture.
Right.
I never saw myself in the bigger picture until I had a stroke. December 6th, to be exact, 2019. I suffered from a stroke. I could not walk. I had paralysis to the right side of my body. And it kind of allowed me the dreaming I had been doing of knowing that possibly I could be an entrepreneur,
Right.
but because of me working for other people and being comfortable, I was so complacent and comfortable where I was. The stroke allowed me to be on my back for 2 months and just think about life.
Kind of forced you into
Yeah.
something else.
So I was kind of forced into it. And it was really weird considering that 2020 was the pandemic, right? Then I'm furloughed from my job. So now I'm being forced off of a job that I'm
Again.
so good at.
Right.
And so it was kind of like one of those things where you're like, all right, Lord, I hear you. Show me the way. At this point, like, these are things
I don't know
I'm
what to
really
do.
good. Right. Because at the point, I mean,
Yeah,
you're talking
absolutely.
about now having to learn how to walk again, having to learn how to write, being a single mom, raising now I consider her a meanager.
Right.
They passed the teen.
Right.
It's a meanager. But, I mean, single mom trying to raise a child, down here in Jacksonville. All my family lives in Atlanta.
Right.
They're all in Georgia and South Carolina.
Right.
So it was pretty hard, and I just had to be obedient. I learned that is one of the words that I like to use inside of entrepreneurship is to make sure what you're asking God for and what you're praying for, you're being obedient to that.
Right. Okay. So now you go from the stroke. Now give me, what's your first, you say it started to hit you. It's something you've always wanted to do, right? What was it about the stroke and being home that made you say, okay, I have to take the step though. Like I have to take this first step. I believe that a lot of times that's the hardest part, is even taking the first step. So was it the stroke, or was it when you got furloughed from the job where you said, okay, at this point?
So I have to say it was definitely the stroke, because the stroke was what allowed me to start the nonprofit, A Stroke of Luck Foundation.
Okay.
And I said to myself, if I'm able to get up and walk again and go back to doing the things that on a normal day-to-day basis, I can do anything.
Right.
Yes, and a lot of times we don't realize the things that we pray for. The work is dead if you're not doing the work. Like, you know, whatever you're praying for at that time, it means nothing if you're not putting in the work. So I said to myself, if I can get up from this if I can fight through this, if I can walk in heels again,
Right. Yeah, we're gonna get into that.
after
Yes.
not being able to
Yes.
walk, I can do anything.
Right, absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty much it was the stroke. I would definitely say I feel like being furloughed from my job was something that might have just made the cup runneth over.
Okay.
It was what was like, all right, this is your direction.
Right.
Because it's very clear that even you working for someone at any time, they can let you go
Right.
and have
So
no
it's not
care.
as secure as we think.
Correct.
Job is not as safe and
Correct.
secure as we've been
Absolutely.
taught for so long. Okay, so let's get into the business. Let's get into what Miss Shaneeka decided would be her first road or journey into entrepreneurship.
So my first role kind of stemmed from a live that I started doing during the pandemic. I realized there were a lot of us tuning in to social media more. Even if I saw a lot of friends that I had that had never had a Facebook or a social media, they had one during this time. It was the only thing to turn to.
Okay.
So I realized it was also a time for me to cleanse.
Okay.
So I started pulling clothes and shoes and accessories that I was no longer wearing, trying to get rid of them. But then my aunt said, this is good stuff. You need to sell it.
Right.
So I decided to do a live, which is now to this day called Sip and Shop Live Boutique. And we're currently on episode number 81.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So that's where it pretty much stemmed from. Selling the clothes and the shoes and accessories out of my closet. I've managed a couple of retail stores.
Okay.
So the customer service skills are already there.
Okay.
As far as that is concerned. And so when I had people reaching out like, hey, we want more, like we don't have nothing to do. We're getting this
Right.
free money coming in.
Right. They ready to spend
They
it.
ready to spend more
They
money.
got something for you.
And so at this point, I'm like, y'all, I have nothing left in this closet. Like at this point,
So
I would
you
be.
hadn't sold out. You hadn't
I had
got
completely
cleaned out your
sold
closet.
out. At that point, I need now selling
you
the
need
clothes
some
off
of
my
yourself.
back.
Right. Okay.
So I've been in the hospital since December 6th. When we finally came to the pandemic and started getting up, it was April.
Okay.
It was April. So at this point, I hadn't really been anywhere. And considering that we were locked in,
down,
where was I going? So I sold as much as I could. But I love the feedback. So I said, this could be consistency is the next word we want to use in entrepreneurship. This can be something really good. So we ran with it at this point, we were doing it every day during the pandemic. And after a while, I was just like, okay, this is tiring me out. I need to find some kind of formation for this.
Okay, right. Kind of structure it and make
structure.
this a
It
thing.
needs to be structured. So if we're gonna call it Sip and Shop, I now need to feature a drink, which I was a mixologist back in my days.
Okay.
So we need to feature a drink. We need to allow other people to come on and tell us what they're drinking.
Right.
So now they're all tuned in because I'm pretty sure during the pandemic we are all drinking something.
You better believe it.
It might not be a cocktail. It could be a mocktail. But we are all drinking something. So we titled it Sip and Shop because men and women at that point were loving, the men were loving to see the women talk and bid and drink, and the women were loving to shop.
Right.
So after that, no one would take me serious outside of the real world because I didn't have a business license. So now I have to structure this to be a business, right?
Official. Right.
So I went all about it the completely wrong way. The way I teach women now to sign up for their LLC is completely the wrong way I went about doing it. But I got it done.
But you got it done. Right.
So, and now we have formed what I love the most about my life right now, outside of my child, is Beauty's Closet. It is my second baby. We are now located downtown, 25 North Market Street. We have a full suite. It is a full shopping experience that will allow women to come in at any time as long as they make an appointment to pack their bags, to shop for any upcoming events Jacksonville has. Even if it's not Jacksonville, they're going out of town. They're attending women empowerment conferences. We dress them. We style them. That's what we're there for. And we are, if you can't catch us there, we are at one of the 10 pop-ups that are going on here in Jacksonville.
Right. Because I initially met you at the pop-up shop at the distillery.
Yes.
For Blue Foundation.
In January.
Yep, in January. Yep, and I seen you, and I was like, man, I just like you had the what is this, the thing around your neck that had the cup
With the
in it,
wine glass?
Yeah, and that's what caught
With my business?
my attention. Yeah,
Yes.
and I was like, yeah.
Still selling to this
Yeah,
day.
I know it is.
Yes.
It's perfect.
And actually, if you purchase one, for those who are watching and actually have one, you can stop by the office anytime
Okay.
and chill out and get a free glass of wine.
Wow.
With the wine glass.
So you turn shopping into a whole experience. Now it's more
Absolutely.
than just getting clothes. Now it's I
Absolutely.
can go and rest and kind of
Chill out.
Yeah.
It's in a central location, so no matter what side of town you on, downtown is very convenient for the north side, the west side, the south side, and the east side.
Talk about how, and I think a lot of time people that just want to jump into entrepreneurship or being a business owner, they bypass the stages of working. But you just explained how so much of your past, when you were working a job, has now
Prepared
been
me.
something that you've implemented in your business. Kind of talk about that and how that's been a benefit to you.
So while in college, I was your token black girl. I worked for Hooters.
Okay.
I literally the token black girl
Yeah, the
in
only one
Daytona,
in there, right.
the only one while in college. And it definitely paid the bills.
Right.
And so I came to Jacksonville, which is North Florida region, and I was training bartenders here.
Okay.
So corporate trainer and they allowed me to train from Atlanta on down to Daytona.
Okay.
Really got into it then as far as bartending goes.
Right. Okay.
What I didn't know was the drinks. I knew of your typical college drinks, so amaretto sour, Long Island iced tea,
But now
or
you're
Sex
dealing
on the
with-
Beach.
you're dealing
So
with
now you're
adults
dealing
and-
with real men
Right.
who drank Macallan
Right.
12
Right,
years,
right.
know, and you're just like, who?
Who is that? And what
So
is
I
that?
had to do research on it. So I did learn that if you are truly interested in something that you are doing, there is nothing like reading up on it and doing the research on your own. So you can even if I didn't drink it, I wanted to know what it was for me. I wanted to be able to sit down and tell that client or that guest who's talking about it, hey, I know a little something about it too. I'm not just behind a bar with no brains,
right.
So I kind of got into bartending, went on to bartend, opened up the Top Golf here, was a bartender there. Yeah.
Okay.
Bartender there, token black girl once again.
Again. Right.
Loved every minute of it. And I felt like between that and also being in college, working retail stores, it definitely gave me the retail experience that I needed to know how to count inventory, to know how to deal with customers of all types.
Right.
So I will say, again, I was obedient, right? I worked these jobs. I worked hard on these jobs. I worked 40 hours and felt like what I do now didn't amount to what I can do back then. 40 hours, what I make in 40 minutes now, kind of thing.
Right. Absolutely.
So I will say, if you are on that stretch and you just feel like it's so hard trying to get to somewhere you are, be very patient, because it is God having you in the works. He is training you and he is guiding you to where you are going.
Right.
And I felt like that's what he did for me.
Right. Absolutely.
Because look at it now. I mean, I would have never. If someone was to ask me today, or maybe even before December 6th, what would you be in 5 years? It's still working for someone else.
Right. And we talked, and I remember you referred to yourself as the pop-up shop queen. And if y'all don't know, she is at every pop-up shop queen. She is at everyone.
I
But
love
it takes work ethic, though.
Yes.
To do that.
Because now you're on someone else's time.
Yep.
Now you're dealing with all
Oh,
kind of
right,
people.
right.
Oh my God. But I love every person who walks up, even the one who challenges me on my prices.
Right.
You know,
They there.
they are there. They are going to try to finagle you.
Right.
And I'm just like, I'm sticking to my prices, because what I have learned, another thing about entrepreneurship, know your worth. And then you add tax.
Yeah. Yep.
So don't lower your prices because no one is buying. It's been plenty of pop-up shops in the first hour where I was just like, oh my gosh,
I ain't sold nothing.
I haven't sold
Right.
anything.
And it makes you like, man, should I drop my price or should I go down?
No, I never thought that.
Oh, okay.
Never.
You said never. We're going to hold
No,
it down.
I
We
never,
gonna hold it down.
I stand
Right.
firm to my
Absolutely.
prices, because
Absolutely.
my thing is the same way they go out and buy the Jordans, the same way they get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and stand in
We
line,
come up with whatever money we want when we want something.
and they will find a way. You will find
Yeah.
a way to get those Jordans.
Yeah.
You will find a way to get those hair bundles.
Absolutely.
You will find a way to
Absolutely.
do all of those things. Now, when it becomes a black-owned business, then
want a deal.
you want a deal. But I got a deal for
Right.
you.
Pay this price.
When you get some more money, come on back.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you think? And I guess it is a problem with us because we only do it with us. If Walmart overpriced something, you either leave or you come up with the money
Absolutely.
to buy whatever Walmart's
Absolutely.
selling you. But never when it's us, we always want it for cheaper.
Well, and I've come to learn too. I don't just do pop-up shops with us. I
Right.
do pop-up shops with
Right.
all of
Right.
us.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I can close my eyes, and when I stick my hand out, that money is still
It
green.
don't matter what color you're.
So, and they do it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're like, oh, it's this event ends at 6 o'clock. So, if you have you sold anything? And I'm like, yeah, I have sold. Well, how about if I buy two of these? Then it's two separate prices.
Right. Absolutely.
Oh, they do it.
Yeah.
They do it as
absolutely,
well.
absolutely. Why won't we get into the habit of that, of trying to expand our customer base? I think sometime, and I said this the other day, opposed to always telling black people to shop black, we should encourage black business owners to operate in that space to where everybody's
Shop
your
all.
customer, where your customer base is everybody, because that's where the money is. It ain't just with us.
Absolutely.
It's with everybody.
Absolutely.
How do we get that out?
I think that it's a mindset. And I truly do understand where the saying shop black businesses come from. Look what just happened to us during the pandemic.
Right.
I think it was stronger then to say, you know what, if they're going to treat us like this, we need to spend our money in our own community.
Right.
However, if we are going to say shop black businesses, if we are going to say let's shop in our own community, we can't always be black. And I say that to say I've seen it, I've heard it, I've shopped it, and no matter what, I'm not going to support you when you are rude, you have an attitude, you feel like because you are a black-owned business that I have to shop with you. I'm not going to shop you if you are not dressed to par, because just because you're an entrepreneur, that does not mean you do not have to dress to par. That does not mean you do not have to get up and show out.
Yes. Do you think we have too much of that? We just want to be a boss. We think that just because you're the boss, then I wear what I want. I
do what
present
I want.
myself how I want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've seen it.
Right.
And it has definitely, I've had women to come to me and say, I literally just had a girl to make an appointment last week. And she's a serial entrepreneur. And she said to me, I watch you and I watch how you move and you don't say much, but your presence speak a lot.
Right.
And she says, here I am and I'm doing all these big things and I'm going to these places. And she says she literally had someone to sit her down and tell her, listen, you can't be dressing like this. And she said, oh, but I'm just going to the but you can't dress like this if you are in business. Because when you're in business and you want people to take you serious, you have to look like you're serious about your business, right? So you no longer can just go to the mailbox or go to the grocery store any kind of way.
Right. Especially if you're going to be on social media and you in front. Because
Especially
we see people,
what?
Oh, I know that from, she said what?
Right. And how would it look if I'm telling you I'm a personal stylist, a personal shopper, and you catch me outside slipping? It's cliche.
Right.
It's one of those things where it's like, wait a minute, she's getting caught slipping. This is the same person that I'm paying, these consultations for. It speaks volume. And again, it's not just myself.
Right.
It's for any entrepreneur. You have to look serious in order to be taken serious.
Right. Absolutely. So I want to go to the Stroke and the Stroke of Luck Foundation. And what inspired me a lot about your story, and especially us in the time, is that if you watch the news too much during the pandemic, everybody lost a house, everybody lost a car, everybody went broke, everybody business went under. But there's so many stories that people used the time on the pandemic to catapult their business.
Absolutely.
They were home, and instead of crying, they made an adjustment. And now what they made in 40 hours, they can make in 40 minutes. But also, I think during the pandemic, we forgot about so many other issues. So I want to get to saying that hearing your story and the stories like yours that make me look back and say, what am I even complaining about, right?
Absolutely.
I'm stressed over this and this, and it's people that's fighting for their life, literally questioning if they're going to be here tomorrow. So kind of walk us through that whole incident, right? Where were you, and how did you know that you were having a stroke, or did you know? You know what I mean? Kind of take us through
Absolutely. So, and I will say a lot of times that we do not like to share our stories, which is why a lot of our community, we don't know about certain things. I've learned that even with strokes.
Right.
Transparency is key for me, so I like to keep it 100
Right.
all the way through.
That's what we like. We like 100. Let's keep it
So,
100.
and I say this to say, gosh, so we'll go back as far as November 14th, the day of the accident.
Okay.
I was getting prepared. I had just finished dinner in Blanc, Jacksonville. It was their inaugural.
Okay.
And we had a great time. Now I'm gearing up for a dinner in Blanc, Orlando.
Okay.
And it is a Thursday, November 14th to be exact, 2019. And I just picked my child up, and we are headed to go get her some snacks so she can have for the weekend. And a lady hits us head on.
Okay.
In a car, head on. We were at a red light.
Wow.
So, me being the type of person I am, because I was always busy, I was okay.
I ain't going to the hospital.
I was good. My child was good. I got out the car. When I checked on my child, calmed her down to check on the next lady who had hit us, and car spun out of control. I was good. I had maybe a gash on my leg, and still, every time I look at the scar from it, it's a memory every time. But no, I did not go to the hospital. Epic failure.
Right.
Epic failure. Yeah. That's an automatic no. But again, I had never really been in an accident as bad as that one. It's been taps and, little fender benders.
Right.
So to me, I was alive. I was not hurt as much as I thought I was. Fast forwarding that entire weekend, end up going to Disney, had a lot of headaches.
Okay.
Typical me, it could be because I haven't got enough sleep.
Right.
Right. So now I'm pulling excuses.
Yep. Yeah. To not go to the hospital.
Yeah. Right? So now it's, oh God, it could be I didn't get any sleep. Well, let me let this weekend go by. It's going to be really fun. Next week goes by. Try to get some rest. Now it's Christmas time. Okay. We're approaching December at this point. We've already gotten through Thanksgiving, had a great time. Now I'm doing Christmas cards, and I realize my handwriting is slurred.
Okay.
And I'm like, gosh, remember now I'm a bartender.
Right.
So I don't write often. I'm pouring more than anything.
Right.
So I was like, gosh, I need to start practicing my writing,
Right.
This handwriting looking kind of
else.
scribbly.
Right.
Another excuse.
Yeah.
Right? Then I remember just being really groggy, really sleep. And I'm the type of person that can get up and go 24 hours, go to work, get some other things done. Right. I was just finished cosmetology school at Paul Mitchell. Right. I'll do some lashes. I'll do some hair. Right. I'm the road runner. Right. Like every time you see road runner, he's running. Absolutely. That was me. But now I started getting real groggy, really tired. Okay. I was like, I need to take a couple of days off, rest my body. Let's back it up. December 4th, it was a Wednesday. I remember going to watch the game, basketball at this time, at BJ's. BJ's has high top stools like this. I remember hopping down and my leg buckling. And I was like, I must have sat on the end of the chair too long. Right. Because now my leg is asleep, right? But that's typical, right? That happens. Right. So still didn't think nothing of it. Right. The very next day I woke up, leg tingling still. So I was like, you know what? I need another day off.
Right.
Now I'm taking days off of
All
work.
right.
Friday morning, I remember it, December 6th, walking down the stairs in my house about to take my daughter to school and almost fell down the stairs because the leg had buckled again. Same leg. And it was still tingling. At this point, if a leg goes to sleep, it does not sleep a whole day.
I'm trying to tell you.
So I knew something was wrong.
Right.
Drove her to school like a regular day, dropped her off, told her I'd be back at her Christmas program. Never made it back. I remember taking those same Christmas cards I was writing and dropping them off to a post office. When I walked in the post office, I walked in. When I came out of that post office, I literally was picking up my leg, walking it back to the car. It was not moving.
Wow.
So I took that same leg because I hadn't lost feeling in it.
Okay.
It just lost motion.
Right.
And I drove myself to the ER.
Okay.
And I had no idea what was going on, but I stood at the front door and I told them, I cannot walk to you. I cannot sign in. And they were like, you can't sign in. You can't walk. So they came, rushed, got the wheelchair. Of course, I'm not knowing what's going on, right? Come to find out, that was December 6th. December 7th, I was transported to Baptist South and was told that I was having a stroke.
Wow.
So by that time, they're having me to sign paperwork. Well, I can no longer sign. This hand is no longer signing. By December 8th, I could no longer wiggle my toes. And
So you're losing feeling throughout your body.
Not feeling, just motion.
I mean, what? Just motion. Your hand, your leg. Now you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it's just going everywhere. It's just, I mean, literally, it's gone. Like, I can't even tell you to imagine it because you would literally have to be in that situation to know. But I know someone is probably thinking, gosh, how did she remember it? Because those are the things we take for granted. You know, the fact that you can write, the fact that I get up every morning and sit on the end of my bed and wiggle my toes because at one point, I could not do that. You know, I literally wiggle my toes. I'm doing it now. Just sitting here, just even thinking about there was a point in time. And I used to always tell my friends, I'm like, God, y'all remember Kill Bill, the movie, where she studied telling herself the neurology side of it to wiggle your toes? That is so real.
Right.
Because I literally sat there January 1st of 2020 telling myself, you got to wiggle your toes. I mean, I was crying. I was crying hard. And I'm like, just if I can wiggle my toes, because I remember now I'm looking up information, right? I've had a stroke. Now I need to know everything there is about a stroke.
Right.
Because again, that's where we go wrong in the Black community. We do not talk about things that go wrong, that goes wrong with us. We don't talk about it. So when we don't talk about it, we're not making others aware of things that they could possibly be doing. So hopefully if someone hears this story and something has happened to them, they can think, let me go to the doctor because she didn't. You know, let me do something different that she didn't to prevent from having things to happen. So that is why I share my story. Full on transparency. And I have no shame in it. The fact that I could not walk, the fact that I was extremely sad. I was broke. You know, I didn't know which way to go after that. I had no type of, hey, this is what you do after the stroke. This is how you bounce back. There's no book for it. You know, there's only others who've gone through it. And I've never watched anyone go through that before. So that's when we came about with a Stroke of Luck Foundation. If you look at it, and we're still in the process of trying to be 501c3, but if you look at it, it's a painter's palette. And the painter palette has 3 different colors on it. And it symboled me painting a new canvas on life because I knew after having that stroke, things that I did prior to, I could no longer move the same way. I had to do things differently. Even it's to say for my health. Even if it's to say to help someone else, even if it was how I was working, it was so comfortable in my job, you know, everything about it. Like I now had to move different because something so big had happened to me. So a Stroke of Luck Foundation is a painter's palette and it has 3 colors. The red stands for stop what you're doing. The yield is for yield to the warning signs
Right. Pay
because I did
attention.
not do it.
Right.
I mean, I saw them; they were
Right.
there,
Right.
clear as day.
Right.
But if you're not stopping and slowing down enough to pay attention to your body, you won't see it. And the green is go seek medical attention immediately. Because again, I did not do all these things. By the time I was having it, I was having
Right.
the stroke.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
walking
Right.
into the hospital.
Right.
And a lot of people might say, "Oh, well, you walked into the hospital." All strokes are all different. They can
Right.
happen all
Right.
types of different ways.
Right.
And that's why we have to make sure we are knowledgeable about certain things in our community. Shortly after that, I found out that, and I'm not going to claim this, but after that, they started doing other things. They started doing spinal taps. I started having issues on the left side. And then that's when multiple sclerosis was presented.
Wow.
MS.
Okay.
Again, I'm not going to claim that. I'm the Lord is who can diagnose me. Now, can this neurologist diagnose me with it? Absolutely. But the way I plan to live, again, I'm moving different.
Right.
So we're what, a year, and we're going on 2 years come December.
And everything's been fine. Good. Good.
Yeah.
You know, I love that you use each part of your story to create something else. So with the green, yellow, and the red, the stop, yield, then go. You know what I mean? And I think that's why. That's how God does, and He used His life for us to use.
Absolutely.
Because you could have went through that and said, "I'm glad I went through that. I ain't gonna talk about it no more."
Right. Absolutely.
And then you would be crushed to find out somebody just went through the same thing, and you could have said,
Absolutely.
"Hey, you need to go to the doctor because I went through that."
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Wow. So you talked about the peas one time. I love that.
I did
I
talk
love-
about the peas.
I love the
Let
peas.
me pull out.
Yes,
I
please.
tried. Listen, I tried to remember as much with the peas on the last interview that I had, but my peas are very big for me.
It's all good. I love them. I like how you put them together, and I think that once
should
again
be
they can
here.
inspire people.
Absolutely. So I have a list, and I actually wrote them down because so they're written down. But we're gonna go through the peas because I definitely have them. But yes, I have 9 main P's that I love, that I feel like in life, this will help us definitely with entrepreneurship.
Okay.
My P's were presented shortly after Beauty's Closet was even formed.
Okay.
And my first P that I love to use more than anything, my first one is pride.
Okay.
Because for me to go through what I went through, in order for me to be an entrepreneur and to be successful at what I'm doing, you have to have pride in what you're doing. But pride is also an acronym for me. And it stands for perseverance requires intensity, dedication, and enthusiasm.
Okay. Okay.
So that's my first P, pride. My next one is going to be persistent.
Yep.
Being persistent about everything we are doing in life. Be persistent. If you are going after something, be persistent. My next P would have to be prayer.
Prayer.
It's really big. I mean, it's self-explanatory.
Absolutely.
Like you want something in life, you pray about it and you put in the work. Because again, faith without work is dead.
It's dead.
So if you're praying about it, I mean, I should be prime example to people. Gosh, I wish just people could see my story from the beginning to now, to just know that everything I've done is been with prayer. You know, because I did not know that I literally was living day to day. Like, Lord, how am I going to make it to tomorrow?
Right.
Lord, how are my bills going to get paid
Right.
tomorrow?
Right.
You know, a lot of people, y'all stress about how my rent going to get paid for the next month.
Right.
I'm stressing about
How we gonna eat? I don't
Yes.
know. How we gonna eat? Right.
Yes.
Right.
the next day, the next
day.
couple of
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
So definitely prayer. We said pride, perseverance, prayer, professional.
Professional.
Professionalism is just
What we just spoke to.
we
about,
yeah, like
yeah.
and it's it's well far fetched from just the
Right.
outer
Right. It's attitude
professionalism.
and
It's
all.
it's
Everything.
everything
Yeah.
that comes with the
Yeah.
package.
Yeah.
Being punctual, I'm getting better with that. It's definitely it is being put into place, and that is another reason why I have the boutique, is because when I make those appointments, they can come. I don't have to worry about meeting y'all in Starbucks parking lot.
Right. Right.
I
I
don't have
got
to worry
somewhere
about
for you to
going,
come.
yes,
Got you.
and I'm there.
Right.
So, and that screams volume too.
Right.
And again, I'm not perfect.
Right. Absolutely.
I'm
right.
a woman.
Right. Right.
The whole nine
Right.
of getting it
Right.
together
Right.
is, but I'm
Right.
learning to
Right.
do it more better than I've done
In
yesterday.
past, right. Absolutely.
Yes, and
Absolutely.
especially with these pop-ups
Right.
because they play no games. Setup time is
Oh, I
setup
know
time.
it. I know it. Yeah,
And to me, that's my money.
right.
So-
Right. 'Cause I done paid dollars.
right. So if it requires,
Yeah.
just for instance, I had the 904 pop up on Sunday, and setup time is from 7 till 10, and they start at 11. But then I had the Jack's Met Gala the night before.
Oh yeah.
There was no sleeping,
Yeah.
because I feel like I would oversleep.
Right.
So it's just those things to make sure you're punctual. Gosh, these P's. And I have them written down
It's all good. Those, I mean, even those five.
as they pop in my mind.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. I think those five alone is professionalism and persistence are the two that really stick out to me.
Persistent.
Because you got to keep going. Nothing is yeah all the time. Wow, first time. Talk about that. Now that you have a store,
Yes.
you have a storefront. What was that journey like? Was that always a goal? Did you plan to just do things from the live, or did you always see in my future? Okay, I want to have a store. And
I did
wanna-
not see it. I prayed about it,
Okay.
but I did not see it. And when I tell you again, that there's that P again,
Right.
prayer.
Prayer.
I've learned that the things we want in life, we have to manifest it, right? That's a big word that's being used in entrepreneurship as well, manifesting the life you want. So you're not going to say, oh, I pray I get this, I pray I get this spot. I pray I get this suite. No, I am going to get this suite.
Right.
But again, it's a scary feeling for me because things are happening so fast,
Right.
and to just think I just started this a year ago with just a live in my living room.
Right. And now to have a store.
And now to actually have a complete suite is scary, but I would have to say it's one of the best, scariest feelings I've ever had. Did I see it coming? Yes. So soon?
No.
Absolutely not.
Right.
And to think that I was supposed to go in with another friend of mine to go into the suite because I was so afraid that, Lord, how would I be able to this was
pay.
my prayer.
Yeah.
Lord, how will I be able to afford this suite, afford my bills, and take care of my child? And when it fell through with the friend, it was like, Lord, you have shown me something and you have put it in my forefront. What do I do? What do I do next?
Right. Right.
And so I said, if it feels good, it's got to be good.
Right.
I've come to know those things because we can pray all day, and yes, we know that God, but He also sends us signs. And if something doesn't feel right in your spirit, in your soul, it's probably because it's not right.
Right.
But this just felt so right. So I jumped in it.
Right.
I jumped in
Absolutely.
head first.
Absolutely. Faith. Gotta have it.
Faith.
Gotta have it.
Yes.
Gotta have it.
And that was what, June, July, August, September. We're 3 months in.
Right. And you're loving it.
3 months. I'm loving it. I'm loving every minute of it. It is. I don't have to worry about how it's paying itself.
Right.
It's paying for itself.
Right. Wow.
And it's just me.
Right.
So I say that to say if you have something, you have
Gotta
to
go for
manifest it.
Yeah.
Go for it
Yeah.
because He's not going to put more on you than you can bear.
right.
And I just posted something today on I'm going to read it to you all. Actually, Janet, I'm not going to take full credit for that. Janet Jackson actually just posted. I had a lot of friends to go back in and reshare it. But this saying says, one thing about God, when he sees you're trying, he'll handle the rest.
Having the rest.
That I woke up to that this
Right.
morning.
Yep. Yep.
And I said, Lord, I'm going to keep trying. I'm
Yep.
going to keep trying. I'm going to keep doing, and I'm going to keep walking.
Right. Right. And look how fast I think a lot of times because we underestimate God, we think that it's gonna take me 5-10 years to get a store.
Man,
And look.
less than a year.
Less than a year.
Less than a
Less
year.
than a year.
So yes, if you don't know my story, make sure you guys please follow me on Shop Beauty's Closet. I mean, that won't give all of the backstory, but I'm also on Instagram at BEAUTAUFUL. I mean, it will show you again. I have nothing to hide about, the entire story. We were just talking about it. I mean, I remember even going back to my rehab days, having to go to rehab every day. And I just remember them saying to me, like, here's your wheelchair. And I said, no, I'm not going to be confined to a wheelchair. I will walk again.
Right.
So even walking around on a walker, it was a lot. It took a lot out of me to know that I'm 35 years old and I'm I'm on a walker.
It's
like
just draining just to think about.
Yes.
Yep.
When you think about that, you think of an older
Older
person,
person,
and it's acceptable.
Right.
And not to say that it wasn't acceptable in my state because of what I've been through, but for
We're not gonna
myself,
accept this, right?
I'm not
We're
going to
gonna
accept
this.
that. Forget what everybody else is
Right. We're
saying.
not gonna accept
I
that.
can't
Right.
accept my 10-year-old at the time taking care of her mom, and physically fit.
Right.
Like, love the
Right.
gym, love running, love working out. So, and I say this to say, you guys, no matter what you are going through in life, if there is something that you want to do, that side hustle, that's the thing I've learned about a lot. Turn that side hustle into a full out business. Become your own boss. Because if the pandemic hasn't shown us anything else, it should have definitely shown you. If you are still here today, you are stronger than what you think you are. Because there are so many of us who were not strong enough to fight through what they were going through. So if you are here, that means God has a plan for you. And again, faith without work is dead. But if there is something that you want to do, you got to go out there and do it.
Nobody gonna do it for you.
Nope.
Nobody gonna do it for you. Nope. Man, I appreciate you for coming through and sharing that
No
story.
problem.
Like I tell anybody, anytime I reach out, it's because I'm a fan of some sort. Something I'm like, I love that. I like that. And
I appreciate
believe
it.
that story. Again, and I'm also guilty of that, man. Sometimes you get so wrapped up in your own problems, and then you have to hear what somebody else is going through to say, "Oh, I'm tripping.
Yeah.
I'm tripping. I need to get over that because there's people that day and I might not walk again." That's what doctors are telling me.
Yes.
People that are specialized in certain areas are saying, I might never walk again. I might never do this again. And you mad about?
Not might. They were.
Oh, yeah.
It was legit.
Right,
like,
right.
well, doctor, how long do you think this will be?
And they was like, yeah,
It's hard to say.
right.
I mean, they will put the fear in you.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I had to learn that at the end of the day, they practice medicine
Right.
just the way I'm reading about
Right.
it. They're learning things
Right,
too.
just like I am.
You
On the
know,
go.
On the go.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with that being said, again, and that comes back to having the faith. Just having the faith in God to know that and think He's the ultimate provider,
Yeah.
the healer. He's going to see me through this. He will be the final say so to tell me if I won't be able to walk again, because I walked in my heels back to that same hospital and was like, hey, y'all.
Right. Right.
Hey, y'all.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
And if that was not one of the best feelings, or even to go back to rehab, to just say, hey, y'all.
Right.
Because I feel like for them too, that does something for them. That does something for their spirit to know that, God, I helped her.
Yep.
I was there with her. I've watched her.
Yeah. Or not only that, it makes me think about the next person that come in.
Absolutely.
They're able to say, hey, it's not looking good, but I know a story.
Yeah,
That looks
absolutely.
just like yours. and she's walking again.
But
So
and then
yeah.
that's too why I wanted to start the nonprofit, because I feel like a lot of the doctors who tell us this, a lot of the therapists, they've never had the stroke.
Right. Mm,
So how can you
right.
honestly tell somebody
Right.
it's going to be
Wow.
okay,
Wow.
and they fully believe you
Right. And all
because
you
you
did was
haven't been
read.
in their
Right.
shoes.
That's right.
You
That's
haven't
true.
been in that seat they were
Right.
in.
That's true.
So that is why I feel like more of us need to speak up about things that we have going on with us. More of us need to talk up, because more of us need to be out in the forefront. Not saying we have to be
Right.
the
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 face
the,
and
the
right.
therapist or
Right.
the
Right.
physical therapist. We need to be there for moral support for each other. I feel like ultimately, if I would have heard it from someone else, it would have put me more at ease
Yep.
day one.
Right. Right. So at least I know it's a chance.
Yeah.
No, I'm not living off a wing. So what is tell us, what is the Stroke of Luck Foundation going to be geared towards specifically, and who would it
Good
help?
question. So, the Stroke of Luck Foundation is going to be geared towards stroke patient and MS
Okay.
warriors. And I call them MS warriors because that is that is something that is with you. That is a disease that you can't shake. It is with you. However, you can fight it. You
Right.
can you
Right.
can
Right.
you
Right.
can fight it. You can win. So I call them MS warriors, and it's to give to those patients who are currently in rehab. A lot of times people don't realize rehab consists of people from all over the world, depending on the rehab. Brooks is one of the top
Right.
in the world, and it was so many people that I met from all over, all ages. I just want you all to know, stroke, it does not discriminate. It doesn't have an age or race or gender. I was inside sitting next to a 7-year-old boy,
Wow.
all the way up to a 69-year-old man. So it does not discriminate. And I say this to say they are from all over. I met a lady from New York who was in a really bad car accident on a tractor trailer, and she fell off and she had a stroke. So it's things like that. And these people come from far, and then they get in here and they feel like, I have to eat hospital food, but nothing's wrong with your health. A lot of them, it was nothing wrong with their health.
Right.
So I feel like those funds can be for their family to come in and feed them. And if they're not here locally, they can have food sent to them. The funds are also to help out the physical, occupational, and what are the speech
Right.
speech
Okay.
pathologists.
Right. Right.
It
Right.
is to help them, because I feel like they put in a lot of work. They put in more work than the doctors. The doctors literally come, check your vitals, and then they're gone. I'm stuck in this rehab as a live-in facility now, and I need to make sure the people who are taking care of me are being taken care of. So that was another big thing for me, and I feel like, yes, they are underpaid,
So, right. Right.
underappreciated. They don't get as much credit as they should. And so it's to form something for them to be able to say, hey, we want to reach out to a Stroke of Luck Foundation. We see a family here who's in need. They are really in need of, getting a home once they leave here. It's been families who's been in there before. So the Stroke of Luck is to give back and to allow those people some sort of ease. Everything isn't monetary. Something can be as simple as taking them out on a day trip to the movies, because
Lift the
again,
spirits a little bit.
absolutely,
Yeah. Yeah, wow.
absolutely.
Okay. You own it, man. I love it. I love watching you, so I'm a fan. I'd like to tune in to the lives.
I appreciate it.
Definitely be locked in. So before you go, tell everybody where they can follow you, where they can get some clothes from, where they can come to the store. Tell them everything.
All right. So again, you can follow us on Shop Beauty's Closet. It is ShopBeautyScloset. We do have a storefront. It is located downtown, 25 North Market Street, Jacksonville, Florida. However, you do have to make an appointment. It is appointment only. We do offer our 3 Ws: Water, whiskey, and wine. So it's a full out shopping experience. You are allowed to come with multiple friends. You all have to make an appointment by the email. So you would email us at shopbeautiescloset@gmail.com, and just tell us a little things about yourself, who's all coming. We'll get back with you. You can schedule your appointment. You can also sip and shop with us
Right,
every
right,
Tuesday
right.
night at 8 o'clock. We feature a Black-owned business owner from all over, not just from Jacksonville. And you can come on and you can bid on the accessories. And also, you can always find us at a pop-up shop. We always feature the different pop-up shops on our page as well. I am under Facebook as Shaneeka Beautiful Nesbitt, but Sip and Shop is a live boutique group and it is open to the public.
All right,
All
Miss
right.
Shaneeka. Thank you. I appreciate you.
No problem. I thank you.
Thank you. And thank you guys for tuning in. I hope that after hearing Miss Nesbitt's story, that something inspires you. Maybe you were down. Maybe you just went through something, whether it's a stroke, it's cancer, whatever it is. Hopefully you can take this and use it as some inspiration. So thank
Yes.
y'all, and we'll be back next week.
All right.